What is up, guys? Random footage from around here. Today is an exciting day. Today I am removing the worst possible part of my Stinger, and those are the crappy factory brakes. Even though they got Brimbos, even though they work really good, they've been shaken pretty much since I got it. The pad compound's too soft. It's a really common issue. So today I'm going to jack it up. We're going to put some R1 concept rotors and pads on. I'll show you guys those in a few, and we'll see how the project goes. This is a how-to. Follow along. I'll give you the tools, make it really easy for you. Okay, so here we have the new rotors. They're all black. I'm sure the black's going to wear off as I'm, using them. All new pads came with it, front and rear, as well as all new hardware. So it's a pretty cool kit. I think I got this off of Amazon, somewhere in the realm of $600, which really isn't bad. When you think about the factory, wanted, I think, $3,000 or $2,500 or something just to do a brake job on this car. That is insane. So I'm here. I got my brother Sam. Sorry, I got a new camera. It's a little slow, but we're gonna jack this car up. We're gonna get the brakes swapped. I'll show you how to do it. So first step, obviously, get the car jacked up. I'm just gonna do one corner at a time. Front right, front left, and then I'll do the rears together because I also have to do rear tires. So I'll see you guys in a little once we got that wheel off. Okay, so we have the wheel off. Next we need to get the pads out. It's pretty simple. Push these pins through, and then you have to get this clip off. Once we get that off, I'll show you how to pry the pads open to get them loose, to get them off. Okay, so here is the caliper. I hammered the pins in pretty much halfway in order to kind of free up everything. You can see the one's already out. So pretty much you just pull this out once the pins are out, and then the pads are free to move. I am replacing my rotors and my pads. So I just stuck a screwdriver in here and pried against both pads to spread them out, make them loose, because when you put the new ones in, obviously they're gonna be a little bit thicker, as well as the caliper, or as the rotor. So this is where we're at. We're gonna pop these things out, everything's loose. And then the next step is pulling the bolts off on the back, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so here we are looking at the calipers from behind. You have to pull out this bolt and the bottom bolt to get the caliper loose. When you do that, be careful. You do not want to pull on this brake line. If you pull on the brake line, you could rip it, you could tear it. So you want to hold the weight of the caliper. Let me turn the camera around. I normally tuck it right on the control arm. That gives it a pretty good safe place to sit where it's not pulling on the brake line. So let me get this loose and we'll get this rotor swapped out. Okay, we got the two bolts out, caliper sitting safely. I set it down delicately, it was easy on the line. There's two Phillips screws here. I would imagine it's easier to break them loose before you pull the pads out, unlike I did after I did the pads out, where I just stuck a flathead in here and let it sit against the caliper, able to pop them free. Now I'm going to take a rubber mallet, pop this free. I'm going to find the new new rotors that size up with this one. One's right, one's left, so I'll grab the passenger side one that matches. I guess it has to do with the way everything works. I'm going to get that. You always clean them with some brake parts cleaner. They always have a film when they come in, so I'm going to do that, and we'll get it mounted. And then pretty much it's pretty easy. Just put the caliper back on. Those two bolts, tighten them up good. You can use a little of the red Loctite if you want. I think it'll be okay. There shouldn't be insane shaking on this to loosen that up. And then once I get that put on, we will go over putting the pads on. So I will see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, if you have a difficult rotor like I do, it's not one to come off at all. I even tapped on it, especially if you don't want to damage if you're reusing it. You have the little screw holes. Well, they are double threaded. You have the small screw thread in the inside, but on the outside you have the bigger bolt thread. So if they get stuck, I had, luckily, if I could get them on with the gloves, I had two bolts that worked. So, oh geez. All right, we're giving up on that one. This one's still in here. Take a little power ratchet, and basically you're just gonna want to tighten it in. And then there you go. It busts it free. No problem. If they're really difficult, you'll have to use both. But as you can see, it came right out. There you go. Little tip of the day. Okay, so we got the rotor on. I'm using those little screws. They'll kind of hold it in place before I mount the caliper back. Quick message. If you get the black rotors, do not clean them with brake part cleaner. As you can see, it took my beautiful black zinc coating right off. Lesson learned. I actually just got off the phone with R1 Concepts, people who make this kit, And on the black ones, they don't come in that like crazy film. Literally just get a wet, like watery rag and wipe it down. He said you can use soap if you want. I'll probably just use water on the rest because they're not really greasy. That's why I was actually kind of surprised. So don't do what I did. Learn from my mistakes. So I'm gonna get this caliper mounted and we'll look at the pads and how to put them on. Okay, here we are. Final product. Everything is together. You can see the pins basically go from the outside of the caliper through the one pad, over this clip, out this pad, and you just want it out just a little bit. I tapped it in lightly with a hammer while kind of holding them in place. Everything's solid, nothing's popping out. So this one's done. The other front, unless there's something different, I'm not going to show you. I'd imagine it's going to be the exact same, but on the opposite side. And when we get to the rear, I'll show you guys. So see you guys in a bit. Okay, so as you can see, the front went super smooth. Both sides are done now. So the next thing is going to be doing on the back. I'm going to jack up the rear together. So just probably jack it off the diff and put a stand on each side. Couple things. Remember, always grease the back of the brake pads. I didn't grease the pins. It doesn't say you need to. And remember, the calipers need to be tight as hell. I tried to look up a torque spec. Everything said super tight. I did that. The main thing too is when you put the wheels back on, make sure to hit those to the factory torque spec. I normally go between 80 and 90. That's just my number. I put all my cars to that. So I'm going to get on the rear, show you guys that process, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, rear of the car is jacked up. Remember, always use jack, stands for safety. The back should be pretty easy, pretty much the same thing. Hammer the pins out, pop out the little like holder, pry against both sides of the pads to get the caliper tension off. You have the 2 Phillips screws. Remember to go ahead and do that before you pull everything apart so you have something to put some leverage on. Be super careful. Remember to use the like perfect size Phillips head. If you don't, it's just gonna be a pain. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this pulled apart. I would imagine on the back, it's probably just 1 or 2, probably the same size bolts as the front. It should be the exact same order. If anything is too difficult, I'll show you guys that on camera. But other than that, it should be super simple. Okay, driver's side went good. Just a quick reminder, remember to make sure that all the rotors are going in the right direction. It was pretty much the exact same thing as the front, other than the bolts for the back of these were a little bit more difficult to get to. I just fed extension with my impacted off, impacted them on. I'm not putting my rear wheel on yet because I gotta get new tires. So just another thing too, these are drum brake for the emergency brake, which is on the inside. So make sure you don't have your e-brake locked. Make sure you're not like pressing the brakes while you're doing this, because that'll make this rotor a nightmare to get off. You want it to just kind of be relaxed, maybe even let the car sit a little so there's no pressure like in the brake system. It was pretty easy, just using the same technique. Pull the screws out, thread a bolt in. There's also this little rubber cap. Make sure you swap that from your factory rotor onto this one. Mine didn't come with new ones. Maybe yours do. So I'm gonna go do the other side. If there's anything over there that's different, I'll show you guys. If not, we'll see the final product when I'm done. Well guys, we just finished it up. There's about 2.5 hours of work to get that done. Not too bad once you figure the tricks out. I just want to reiterate something, or go back on something I said. Do not put Loctite on any of the caliper bolts. They are hard as hell to get out as is. So just go ahead and just tighten them back down with the impact. I think that would be plenty. Other than that, it was relatively simple. If you're just doing your pads, that's really easy. Hammer the pins out, pull the pads out, put new pads in with the pins in the clip. So let me just turn around, show you one more time how pretty these damn calipers and everything is. It doesn't get any better than the black rotor and the red Brembo calipers. That's really pretty. So this is final product. They're all on. Put the rubber cap on. Everything's tight. Like I said, I'm getting the tires. That is why it's not done. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty good. My brothers gave a hand. That's kick ass. We're picking up the mess real quick, so we're gonna be done. Hopefully this video helps. If you want to see more stuff like this, always subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell me if I did something wrong, if you would do it a different way. Like the video if it helped you out. Coming up soon, we're going to be doing the suspension on the Viper. So we're going to be slamming the nuts on that thing. I'm so excited for that. As well as probably timing belt job soon on the Skyline, and getting my Miata finally set up. I've been dailying the Mazda Speed for a couple weeks now. It's been kick ass. Oh, and one more thing. We actually have an exhaust to install on the jet ski. That's also coming up really soon. The second it's not cold out anymore, we're gonna be riding the piss out of these things. So I hope you guys are looking forward to it. I will see you guys later on. Peace.